In this video, I'm going to go over skinning your character with RigHelper. So after you set up your rig, you should have something like this. And in RigHelper, if you just type in the name of your mesh in this box, you can access all these skinning tools. So I get an error here because the skin is not bound to the rig. So let's go ahead and do that first. So what you want to do is select skin joints and then select the meshes that you want to skin. And in my case, I'm going to only skin this body mesh. The clothes mesh have the same topology or very similar topology to the body. So what I'm going to do with those is just bind them to the skin after I'm done painting skin weights on the body. And then I can just copy the skin weights, and since they have similar topology, everything should seamlessly work. So let's just go ahead and hide those and select skin joints, and then shift click on your mesh and bind your skin. The most important thing that you really have to remember to do is to bind to selected joints, or else you'll have a lot of troubles painting skin weights. So all the other options are up to you. I don't care about this because I replace all the weights anyways, so I'm just going to bind it. So the first thing that I'm going to do that might make you cringe is I'm going to assign all the weights to hips, but I just really like working this way, so let's assign weights to all the verts. Okay. And if we go in our skin weights tool, we can see that everything is bound to the hips now. And the most important part of this step is to be in interactive mode. My general rule is that whenever I'm replacing, I'm in interactive, and whenever I'm smoothing, I'm in post. And I usually get pretty good results with that. So let's go ahead and get started. The first pass is going to be blocking out skin weights. So the way I do that is with my script. So it's not very hard. All you have to do is select the vertices that you want and then find your influence and assign weights to verts. So the way I do it is I select some edges or some faces and then grow my selection until I'm happy with it. And then if you hold control and right click, you can go to verts. And now we have the vertices and we can assign all these weights. So I'm going to assign this all to left joint hip 1. And then since we have 3 twist joints in the hip, so I'm going to shrink my selection and maybe give the first one hip twist 1 right there. And shrink my selection a little bit more. Hip twist 2, all those verts. Shrink it a little bit more. Hip twist 3, all those verts. Just go ahead and shrink it again. This time we're going to be assigning the weights to knee 2. The reason why it's knee 2 is because knee 1 is the first in the hierarchy and knee 2 is the second. We're not worrying about knee 1 right now because that's down the line while we're refining our skin weights. So let's go ahead and assign all these to knee 2. Shrink our selection. Okay, and that will be assigned to ankle twist 1. Shrink a little bit more. Assign those to ankle twist 2. And shrink it a little bit more. And that ankle twist 3. Shrink it some more. And assign this to the ankle. Maybe get rid of these verts. Something like this. Something like that's good. Oh. I don't know what just happened there. Okay, so I'll assign that to ankle. And then the next thing is the ball of the foot, which Just down here. So that is decent. So we'll assign that to the ball. Okay, so now we're done blocking the leg. So that wasn't too bad. And you'll see everything's looking really blocky. And that's just because we're blocking in. But it's nice to check to make sure that everything's working. So everything is. So now let's move on to the spine. I have 4 spine joints, so again I'm going to replace everything above here to spine 1. It's like we're working our way through the hierarchy. So this will all be assigned to spine 1, which will be the bottom. Okay, I'll shrink the selection a bit. Assign that to spine 2. Okay, shrink it again. Spine 3. Okay, and then I'll just kind of manually deselect some vertices. Okay, and we'll assign that to spine 4. Okay, so now we're done with the spine. Again, you can kind of just make sure everything's working. And looks like we have some verts here that we forgot. So just go ahead and assign that to spine 4. Okay. Okay, so let's work our way down the arm now. Same exact concept as the leg, except now we have to worry about the clavicle, so I usually like to assign, well, you probably should assign all of these verts on top of the shoulder to the clavicle. So, something like this. Get rid of these guys. Something like that's usually good. Maybe some of these verts, because once we smooth it out, it'll look good, but in the meantime, it'll look a little funky, but that's okay. So let's assign that to the clavicle. There it is. Okay. Next is the shoulder. It's right here. Assign weights to those. Again, same concept as the leg. Shrink it a little bit. Shoulder twist 1. Shrink it. Shoulder twist 2. Shrink it. Shoulder twist 3. The next is the elbow, which is about right there, so left joint. Elbow 1. Elbow 2 is just, you don't even need to skin it if you don't want to, it's just a little bit extra movement. Okay, and then next is the wrist twist. So here's wrist twist 1. Sign it there. Wrist twist 2, sign about right there. And wrist twist 3, about right there. And then next is the wrist. So I'll assign these verts to the wrist. And now we can move on to fingers, which are a little bit more difficult, but they're not that bad. So finger 1 is always a thumb. It's an easy way to remember it. So maybe I'll select these guys down here for the thumb. And all of these will be thumb 1. Or I guess it'll be A finger, left A finger 1. Okay. Shrink it. And that's about good for A finger 2. Shrink it again. That'll be A finger 3. Okay. Now we can move on to the index finger, which is finger 2. fine for now. I'll have to touch this up later, but that'll be okay for now. So, right. So this is A finger 2. I kind of messed up the thumb. So, A finger 2 is all this. So I guess a better way to do this, since this is in alphabetical order, is to do all the A fingers first, which is the first joint in each finger, and then move on a second and so on. So let's do that instead. So again, I'm going to move on to the middle finger now. This will be A finger 3. This will be A finger 4. And this will be A finger 5. Okay, now we can move on over here to B finger 1. B finger 2. B finger 3. And you kind of get the idea by now. Okay, now we're moving on to C finger. And it's a lot easier to use this tool than to try to use the paint skin weights tool on the fingers, because it can get a little bit tight in here. Okay, so if we use our finger tool now, we should see that everything is at least blocked in. We got our A fingers here, B fingers there, and C fingers. Okay, and then again, everything in the arm should work as well, but again, it's going to be really blocky because we're just blocking stuff in, which is fine. That's expected. So, it's always good to make sure that everything's working. Okay, so now we are moving on to the neck. So that might be easier from the front view. Just select some vertices. Sort of like this. Okay. I'm going to assign all of these to neck joint 1. So let's go ahead and find that. Somewhere in here. Oh, it's at the bottom. Okay, so left joint neck 1. It's all these verts. Okay, and then we can move on to the first twist joint. Assign those weights. And the second twist joint. And then the third twist joint. And then just everything in the head is assigned to neck 2. Okay, so let's just make sure everything's working before we're going further. And there's always some birds that are freaking out. That just looks painful. Oh, there. But yeah, everything's working. It's really blocky and then it looks bad, but that's just because we're blocking things out. Oops, that's not what I want to do. So, okay. I'm going to do the jaw right now, but I'm not going to do the rest of the face controls because I usually save those until I'm done with all the main controls. So do a jaw. Sometimes it's a little easier to just kind of guess how you want to grow your selection. So I'm going to start maybe right here and then select an edge loop that's inside the mouth, like this. And then I'll do the same for this edge loop so it stays even. Oops. Sometimes the edge loop selection just really doesn't work well. That's okay. Okay, so I have these faces selected, so I'm just going to grow selection. And that actually worked out pretty well, except I want these as well. And that's not going to work. Okay. Sometimes paint select is a good way to go too. Okay, so let's go over it and send that to the jaw joint. Okay. Very nice. Alright, so everything's blocked in. That really didn't take that long. So the next step is to smooth, and if you remember what I said earlier, what you should be doing is smoothing in post mode. Oh yeah, before we do that though, let's go ahead and mirror our weights. Okay. Okay, so we're in post, we're in smooth, and we are ready to go. Actually, never mind. Okay, let's just get into it. I'm going to switch to my Wacom tablet too, so I don't kill my wrist. Okay, so yeah, smoothing is just pretty easy. You can use the smooth flood, but I find that this works better. Like you can just press the flood button a few times, but that's really up to you. And this step doesn't take long either, but one thing to remember is that joints like the knee and the elbow and the neck and the clavicle are going to need special attention. But everything else should be pretty easy to just smooth out. So I'm just hitting the flood button 3 times for each one. I mean, it's just whoever you find works out best for you. I usually don't really go more than 3 though. For the ball I kind of go crazy though because the ball is really smooth. And the thing I remember about smoothing in post is that you have to smooth both sides. And what I mean by that is just smoothing the ball like this is not enough. you have to switch the angle which is up in the hierarchy and smooth that as well, or else you won't get any effects when you normalize your skin cluster. Okay, so let's go ahead and move on to the spine. And I'm just going to flood it a few times. Make it nice and smooth. Oh, I didn't do the hips. Actually, I think I did. Pretty sure I did. But it can be way smoother up here. That's why smoothing flooding is not always good. Okay. Yeah, we can smooth this out. And for these wings, I will add extra controls to them. I'm not going to do that for this video. I'll probably make a separate video that shows you how to add extra controls to RigHelper. But not today. In the spine joints, I usually go crazy on the smooth flooding. Same with the neck joints. I'm going to do those right now too. So, start with neck 1. Just really smooth that out. Neck 3, smooth that out a lot. And then neck 2 doesn't really need to be that smooth, but it's about good. And now we need to find the jaw and smooth that out as well. There it is. And then of course I want the jaw controlling stuff up here, so I can always get rid of some of these weights and replace. And then flood it one more time and smooth. That looks a little bit better. Okay, so let's work on the arm now. So we got our clavicle here, and it looks like I missed a vert for the clavicle. So let's switch to interactive and replace 1 right there. And let's go back post. Okay. Flood this guy. And let's find our shoulder. It's probably the bottom because the hierarchy's weird. It is. Flood that guy a little bit. I didn't even worry about the bicep joints. That's just kind of a secondary thing. Okay, and the next is the elbow. And the wrist twist. I like to smooth those a lot. But I'll need any weight up here. Oh, that's not what I want to do. That's why post mode's good, because if you do something like that, you can just control Z and not really have any troubles. And again, I'm smoothing this out a ton because the wrist twists I really want to be smooth. Very smooth. And screw this, I'm just going to use my mouse, it's way faster. Smooth out all the fingers a little bit. Okay, and whoa, what the fuck is going on here? Okay, and we can kind of see all that it's looking. It's actually looking pretty nicely. Get some nice volume preservation here. The bases I'm definitely going to have to adjust. Actually, it doesn't look that bad. Maybe I won't have to adjust them. Except there's some weird shit going on here. But we can just figure out what's going on there. This should be assigned to the first finger joint. So let's just normalize that and see what happens. Okay, I think I broke something with the normalization, but let's just see. Okay, yeah, something's broken, so the way to fix something that's broken is to go into interactive mode and replace with a value of 1 to the verts that are broken. Like this. Okay, let's go post. And it looks like we fixed that problem. But now we have another problem where the base is going to be blocky again, so we need to smooth that out. So let's actually, I think these two verts should be assigned to the wrist. So let's go ahead and do that. I think that might give us a better effect. And maybe we'll just give it like a value 0.15 to the thumb. Okay. I like that better. Same with these. That way we don't get some weird stretching going on. So let's go back to post and start smoothing things out. Smooth it out. Okay, I like that. Oh, yeah, remember I said about you have to smooth both sides, so this didn't do anything. So let's try again. And not to then interactive. Shit. If you smooth an interactive, you'll notice that when you smooth a lot versus loose weight, that weight is automatically assigned to random influences, so that's why smoothing an interactive is not good. I don't think I really broke anything though. Alright, we're going to just assume that nothing's broken, because it doesn't really look like anything's broken. Okay. So I think I already smoothed everything. And this floating eye thing is really annoying, so I guess I could set up my eye rig and that would get rid of that problem. Let's do that. Okay, so this is Geocornea 1. Okay, so right, I have multiple pieces of geometry for my eye. Okay, so left can go on the left and the right can go on the right. That's better. Yes, okay. Okay, so everything is smooth. Our, what the fuck? Our, spine control's looking really good. Our knee's going to need work, most likely. It doesn't even look that bad. So let's just go ahead and do some work on our knee real quick. And we can start with assigning some weights to knee 1. Because if you remember, knee 1 didn't get any weights at first, so we can start assigning weight to that. That's not what I want to do. What is this? And the 3 joints that we were concerned about in the knee are left joint knee 1, knee 2, and also hip twist 3. If you remember, is the last hip joint in the hierarchy. Okay, so that's looking a little bit better. I would like more weight up here because it's weird that the kneecap gets stretched out so much. So I'm actually going to replace post. Because when you replace in post, it doesn't give it a value of 1 like it looks like it is. But I don't really want a value of 1 anyway, so that's okay. Because if we normalize this, it'll be something like this. And we can smooth stuff out. That's looking a lot better already. Okay, so I'm going to call that good. The hip needs work. It just needs to be smoothed out more. So let's go ahead and do that. And sometimes it's best to smooth it with the default pose. And again, you have to smooth both sides. You gotta remember. Okay, I guess I can normalize this and see how it looks. Come on. So a little bit better, but it's still blocky. So I'm just going to smooth flood it until I like it what I want. It's just something like that, and then we can always remove all this crap that we don't want. Or you can use the prune weights command, which works good too. Okay, and maybe one more smooth flood. And then we can do the same for the hips, or the middle hip joint. God. Okay. I always get a little freaked out when I do that, because if you do that in interactive mode, you might lose all of your weighting information, so never flood replace in interactive mode. Learn that lesson. Okay, let's do one more smooth, and that's looking really good. I think our ball is going to need to be smoothed out a lot more. It's actually not that bad. So, ball, we're flexible. Let's just smooth that out a little bit more. And again, we can get rid of all this crap. And the ankle needs to be smoothed out more too, so. Okay, and a lot of things are freaking out, but I think that's just because we have to smooth some things. Or maybe we just need to normalize it, I don't know. But these verts right here are freaking out, so. And normalizing it didn't help. Okay, that's looking a little bit better. I don't even, that's like the most you can bend your ankle anyways, so. Right. Okay, yeah, it's freaking out. Sometimes your weights get all messed up, and the only way to fix it is to replace it with the value 1 in interactive. But I'm going to just try to fix it like this. Let's go interactive. Grab these verts, because this is the only edge loop that's really causing a problem. And now that I'm in interactive, I'm just going to go to add and a value 0.1. Okay, I should have been adding that to ankle, it looks like. Okay, that's looking better. We're calling it good. And let's just make sure that... Okay. That's good. So I guess at this point we can save. I should have saved a long time ago, but I like to live dangerously. And now we can mirror our weights and check that out. That's good. Looking good. Oh yeah, we didn't even do the clavicle yet. But the shoulder looks okay, sans this top part here, which just needs to be smoothed out between the clavicle and the shoulder. So let's go ahead and find that real quick. Here's the clavicle. Smooth this on out right here. And we can smooth this part out too a little bit. And let's find the shoulder, just way down here. And smooth that out. And it's looking a lot better already. Okay. And that's exactly what we want. That's a very nice arm deformation there. Now we can try again arm raise, which is a lot more difficult. But that's actually looking really good. Cool. So we got our arm raise here. Looks like the clavicle needs some smoothing though. Here, opposed to the spine 4 joint. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Alright, yeah, everything's coming together very nicely. Except this loop right here is a little weird, so let's do some smoothing from the shoulder to the first shoulder twist joint. Here it is. Smooth this out a bunch. It's just like right here, something weird going on. I don't know. Oh, I'm doing an interactive mode. Shit. I might have to redo those weights. Ah, that's such a bitch. Where's the clavicle? Okay, I think I can fix this actually. Post mode. Okay, let's see how this looks. So our shoulder raising looks good. Now we should test our shoulder twisting. And that's looking good actually. Okay, and now we can test our wrist twisting. That's looking good too. Okay. And actually, this is just about perfect, except for right here. I might touch that up. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Because when you have your arm like this, all your edge loops should straighten out. Because the way I modeled this is I got some twist going on here. Because when you rotate your wrist down like that, that's just how the muscles twist. So when you have it like this, at -90, they should be straightened out, which are really close except for right here. So that is really good. So I don't understand why people model their models like this. It just makes rigging it like really difficult and annoying. Our stretchy's working good. Very nice. Okay, let's save this. And so as of right now, everything's done except for the face rig, which I'm not sure if I want to do that right now. Alright, neck's looking good too. Cool. I didn't check the jaw though. So the jaw needs work, but I will fix that up in the face. So I really don't feel like doing the face joints right now. So I'm going to take a break and I will post a second follow-up video about painting the skin weights in the face after some time. I don't know, I might do it next week even. But for right now, I will just leave the second video of my original painting skin weight series up because that deals with the face and it's the same concept. The reason why I posted this video is because the twist joints changed and I got some new tools. All these are new, so that's why I made this video. So thanks for watching, and stick around for the painting skin weights on the face video.